Bad It Is production, and today we're going to talk about three films that are secretly horror movies. I decided to choose films that can fit into a subgenre of horror instead of just fitting them into the general genre itself, and I explain why they fit into the set category as we go along. The first film I'm going to talk about is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This movie definitely fits the mold of the death game genre. From a house on a haunted hill, Hunger Games, or Squid Games, the death game genre usually follows a poor person that is either voluntarily or involuntarily put into a sort of contest where the winner gets a grand prize or something along those lines for their efforts if they survive a night at a house or survive a battle royale or things of that sort, with the inclusion of an insane game host like the clown girl in Hunger Games or Willy Wonka in the case of this movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Little by little, each one of the contestants dies, which is no different here as we start with Charlie Bucket, Augustus Gloop, Violet Bargard, Veruca Salt, and Mike Tviv. One by one, they all die. Well, not really, but come on now. There's no way anyone is surviving this. As of recently, I finally understood this movie when I see through the lens of a horror film and the tale that depicts the ending of a criminal, Willy Wonka. I used to think it was a child's movie with morals and lessons about never losing your innocence and succumbing to greed and temptation. But in actuality, it's a movie about the downfall of a mass murderer who owns a chocolate factory and now is giving it away to the survivor of his last game. A swan song, so to say. Think about it. In the movie, we learn so much about Willie and his childhood and why he became a psychotic murderer of children. He grew up being bullied, so now he does the bullying and under the guise of a sweet and innocent chocolate factory owner, when in fact he is the modern day H. Holmes. The second film we're talking about is Whiplash, a movie where we follow a man who goes beyond his limits to become the best drummer he can from the help of his ruthless teacher. This movie, in my eyes, can fit perfectly alongside other A24 movies as a psychological thriller. Just like Mother, Black Swan, or even Smile, we watch a man spiral into insanity trying to achieve his lifelong dream of a musical mastery. The only difference is that Fletcher, who is his terrifying teacher, is an actual human, where the other movies, we could substitute them for demons and their own mental selves and things like that, making them go crazy. But I would argue Fletcher's worse because he is a real person. It's not make believe in his head, but it's actually happening to him. It's terrifying because this could possibly be true, as it's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm sure there are teachers that, well, I don't know if they go to the extent of this level that Fletcher does, but for sure have his ideals, such as the worst two words in the English language being good job. Then the movie has an ending that is commonplace with the horror genre, the bad ending, which is the equivalent to everyone dying. In my interpretation of the ending, I see it as Miles Teller's character choosing to sell his soul instead of going back to his father. He finally gets to impress Fletcher, but at what cost? I think this ending goes back to the dining room table scene where Andrew speaks about his legacy and being remembered, saying, I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at the dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and no one remember who I was. Because I believe that's what's in store for his character post credits. And I remember hearing such things from the director himself in an interview. I just think he is such a tragic character, and mainly due to his father's presence throughout the whole movie, who just wants to see him happy and healthy, which Andrew, by the end of the movie, really isn't. Right before he walks to the drum set, you can see him stare at his father and then stare at Fletcher as he is in a crossroads, having to choose between, like I said, the devil and God. But ultimately, he chooses the devil. It's a great movie, and to me, it's secretly a horror film. Now, the final film I'm going to talk about is a bit of a stretch, but I think I have a good case why I believe it's a secretly horror film, and that is Spider Man 2. Now, the reason I believe it's a horror film is because of the character, Dr. Octopus, who is all the way a universal monster. Stay with me. His character is very integral to the storyline of the movie and is the embodiment of the classic universal monster trope, specifically the tragic monster such as werewolf or Frankenstein, as he is cursed to have these extra limbs with him. If we see the movie through these eyes, through his eyes, I mean, look, even the director Sam Raimi already does a good job of doing that. So we can tell it was a conscious decision to make him a sympathetic character, which to me I can see being inspired by the old Universal movie characters. He is a monster out of his own making. Dr. Octavius really wanted to make the world a better place using his own two hands. That's an endeavor worth tackling. He is trying to do something good, but it said the path to hell is paved with good intentions, and that's really what happened to this man. To further prove my point, Sam Raimi directed it. He is a classic horror movie director, and it shows specifically in the hospital scene, which is a legit horror scene. I love his camera work, and the build up to the inevitable carnage is pretty cool too. My final point why this movie is a horror movie is because think about it. A giant man spider fights a giant man octopus. Doesn't that sound like a quasi kaiju movie? To me, it does, or I might be reaching on that front. I don't know. Regardless, I love Spider Man 2, and this is why I think it's a secretly horror film. This is Bad Ideas Production, and those are my three horror films I think are secretly horror movies. There are others that I also believe are secretly horror movies disguised as other movies, so I'll talk about them in another video. I'm looking at True Truman Show. Peace out, everybody.